Good morning everyone. In this video I'm going to be analysing the live price action for EU and DXY to see what opportunities there may be today. You're going to see my strategy and my analysis, so if you're interested in those then please stick around. So today's video, as always, is about establishing my bias, but today I'm going to be explicitly indicating where and what's forming my bias, just so people understand that analysis is how you get your daily bias, right? So let's get into it. So on the daily chart, EU on the top, DXY on the bottom. What can we see on the daily? Well, yesterday we can clearly see we've closed out as a bullish engulfing on EU, rejecting this daily imbalance that I mentioned, indicating possibly we are heading towards this extreme of the premium to fill this daily imbalance and order block as a draw on price. Price has done that very correctively, as I mentioned before, in comparison to this momentum. So it does give the feelings of a pullback rather than a reversal at this point, right? So I expect this area to be rejected to continue that trend. But let's not get too far into the future. Just for my bias today, we've had a bullish day yesterday, rejecting this POI here. Today so far, it looks like we've taken the previous daily high. We'll have a look at that on the lower time frame, but that counts as buy side liquidity. I'm not sure when that sweep of buy side liquidity was, so we'll see that more on the lower time frame. Inversely on EU, we also had a bearish close to the day. You can see we swept sell side liquidity from the previous daily high, closed out as a bearish engulfing. Now this was highly motivated by news. There was a red folder announcement, which, as I mentioned, gets the price action moving. I'm not sure if we've swept that previous daily low. Again, we'll see that on the lower time frame. It didn't close out with much of a wick, so you can't see the price action there on the daily as clearly. But again, inverse to EU, it does look like we're heading down towards this extreme order block here on the daily with imbalance. And we've left this sell side liquidity here as an inducement, buy side liquidity here as an inducement for this area. So let's go down to the 4 hour and see what that shows us. So on this 4 hour leg here, from this low to this high, we rejected the daily imbalance, as I mentioned, on the daily time frame around the equilibrium area. Now this was our first point of support, like I've been saying in my previous videos, and it's clearly held, and we had that bullish reaction which happened on the news announcement. Now inversely, I'll draw our attention back to this 4 hour POI that I mentioned as resistance. The resistance has held. It held price, and now we've rejected, having that bearish engulfing here, pulling back now to an imbalance and 4 hour order block. So we're between POIs at the moment on DXY. The same order block on EU would have been here. Obviously we've gone further up into price. We can still count this as possibly an order block there because it swept liquidity to the left and broke down. It's just traditionally we use the last up candle in a down move, right? So in any case, we're in POIs at these areas. It's providing support and currently providing resistance around here. So we're waiting to see what price does with that because we are between POIs. Now my thoughts are that this POI may just be enough support and a mitigation to pull back to now the new POIs we've created here. You can see we've got a 4 hour OB here in this leg, right back up where we had our previous 4 hour OB. As I said on the higher time frame on the daily, it looks like we are drawn to this daily POI down here and daily POI up here. So we're back into a premium on EU and back into a discount on DXY. So I expect some support from here. I expect that possible pullback up into this area on DXY, and I expect that possible pullback down into this discount area of this new internal leg. We'll see that on the 1 hour, but with this order block and imbalance left behind. So after such a bullish move, just to get back towards our bias now, after such a bullish move, especially if we've taken or will take some buy side liquidity, I expect a pullback to more of a discount to mitigate. Whether that's to continue going upwards after we come down or to continue downwards, it doesn't matter. We're now starting to paint the picture of our bias. We have support here in the form of a POI. We have possible POI here, but it doesn't matter anyway because it's clear on the DXY. So we have DXY support. We are down into a discount and up into a premium. We've left behind imbalances and POIs as draws on price. So we're just waiting for some confirmation on liquidity to go in that direction. So already for me, it's painting a picture for shorts, for bearish move, at least for this morning. Despite the fact, what I'm saying is we could be drawn into this POI after rejecting this area. That is just the higher time frame daily outlook. So we have to respect the fact that we've got high time frame 4-hour POIs here as support. We've left behind imbalances as drawn prices, just to go over this again. We are in a discount and could pull back to a premium before we continue on our way towards that POI. Inversely on EU, pull back to this area and then we could continue up if that's what price wishes to do. We'll see on the lower time frame, clearly we've made some sort of bullish leg. Just before we move on, again we still have some small imbalances and POIs down here, and we've rejected quite a big high time frame POI, so we may not reach into these at this time. So let's go down to the 1 hour and see what that tells us. So here on the 1 hour, I've annotated a little bit. We've got 1 hour POI at the extreme of the discount of this new bullish leg. So you can see where we came down, mitigated this order block, swept liquidity to the left. If I just draw this across, you'll see. So after those lows were swept at news, we broke up, created new high, breaking above these sort of intermittent highs here that made a low. So now we've got that sell side liquidity broken above. Now what I do expect, as I mentioned, high time frame price draw, big imbalance down here in the discount of this leg. I'll show you where the discount is up to this high currently. So well within the discount, POI down there, and you can see we're sort of forming a consolidation at the top here. There's a small range for us to work with for buy side liquidity. Now I also annotated this previous high here as liquidity with this line, because I think if price pulls back up now towards this previous daily high, even though it says it's swept, this sweep was only at 6 p.m. NY time. So it was just after the previous daily high was established, swept it. It's even before the Asia session. So I believe we should come up and sweep this again. And if we sweep this previous daily high here, possibly we're going to sweep this high for buy side liquidity because it's so close by. What I'm looking for in terms of our bias, again, we're going to look for this buy side liquidity because we're already in a premium of our new internal leg and our external leg that we're working within anyway. We have our price draws down here with POIs, and also if price does continue to want to go to a discount of this leg again, we have price draws down here. But our immediate price draws are within this area. This is the source of the sweep to the left and break above. So I'm looking for buy side liquidity to form with our bias now as the sponsorship to come down to our price draws to fill these imbalances. Now any negatives towards that would be the fact that yes, we have swept sell side liquidity, we have these highs here as buy side liquidity and our daily price draw above. So yes, price could continue going, but we're just looking for that immediate morning move to go with our bias of being in this premium with buy side liquidity on our side, price draws below. Now inversely, I have the same things drawn in on DXY down here. We rejected our 1 hour and 4 hour order blocks, broke down internally, broke down below this low, left behind an imbalance in its new premium and the external leg premium, where we swapped liquidity to the left and broke down. Now we're within our new 4 hour imbalance and 1 hour POI. We're being held there, and it does look like also we may come down to sweep some sell side liquidity, which will be great as well if they both sweep buy side and sell side, to give us our sponsorship to come back towards these price draws here in the premium. So that is me establishing the bias for the day or for the session using the POIs, discount and premiums, and sell side and buy side liquidity. So in saying that, let's go down to the M15 and see what opportunities may be available for today. Okay, so on to the M15, zooming in here on price, you can see we had, I believe in Frankfurt, possibly swept Asia. It'd be clearer on the M5 probably, but we've swept Asia buy side liquidity, broke down, swept Asia sell side liquidity, which made us move to the other side for more buy side liquidity, and it looks like London Open now has swept that previous Frankfurt high. So Price is ranging a little bit in this area, but we do have a new sweep of buy side liquidity. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this. So we have that now. You see we took sell side liquidity, then now took buy side liquidity most recently. There's things that I would prefer, of course. We have a small divergence where London has now taken this previous high and DXY has not taken that internal low there. So we'll see what price does with that. It's indicating some weakness by sweeping this buy side liquidity, which is on our side for my bias, of course. What I immediately see is two scenarios. Two of the same similar scenario, but they may play out differently. So I'm going to go with the first one currently because price seems to have some momentum there. Continuing with this bearish momentum here, we could see price break down, break a structure below this low. Why? Because now we've swept buy side liquidity most recently on the lower time frame. Yes, we have left these highs behind and this high identified here. So we'll discuss that after, but that would be a negative. And then we pull back from this area up into a possible order block and imbalance on the lower time frame to trade downwards towards our POI price draws. So again, just to quickly go over, sweep of buy side liquidity, break down with that breaker structure around this area, inducement possibly from the pullback, entry above NY daily open towards our order block and imbalance, set our order here, stop loss just above the high, and we trade down towards this discount. Okay, I think this is also possible just because we've already had an internal buy side liquidity sweep. If we break down, then of course that fits the strategy and the method. So we've taken buy side liquidity twice here. So if we do get that momentum and close below this low, it would be hard to ignore, but we would have the negatives of these highs resting above here where we've created this sort of consolidation on the lower time frame. We also have SMC divergence on the M15 here, which would be on our side, showing some sort of strength on DXY. Now we would also expect DXY to do the same, breaking above these highs and then having a pullback to go towards there. So we'd want DXY to possibly match. Now let's discuss the second scenario, which would be the preferred scenario. So now what I'd really want to see is price to come up for more buy side liquidity above this high and this high here. If price were to come up like this, reject these highs, taking buy side liquidity from the previous high here, break down internally, breaking below maybe a low if it creates one on its pullback up here. So break a structure around this area and then we get a lovely corrective pullback to our lower time frame order block imbalance to then trade down towards the discount. So if we do this, we'll have swept the buy side liquidity above here, break of structure somewhere around here, maybe some inducement possibly around here from our pullback, order block with imbalance on the lower time frame around this area, and we set our order stop loss just above the highs, targeting towards that discount price draw. Now DXY would also look like this. It would have taken more sell side liquidity below its previous daily low, break up, pull back, something like that. So that would look good. Both DXY and EU would have taken some more buy side liquidity. So this would be the more low risk opportunity. The first one would obviously have the risk of these buy side liquidity resting above, but I think both match the strategy and analysis. They go with the daily bias that we've established for this session. So I hope that's clear. I hope you gain value. Any questions, let me know in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.